Today I'll be doing an unboxing of the Fractal Design Node 304 White. Let's open this bad boy up.
The case supports Mini-itx and DTS motherboards. It also supports full-size ATX power supplies. The top and side panels are joined. You can remove them by removing 4 thumb screws in the rear of the case and pulling the cover back and up. The case dimensions are 250 millimeters wide, 210 millimeters high, and 374 millimeters deep.
On the front here is the front I/O. It includes 2 USB 3.0 ports, headphone, microphone, power button, and there's an LED button on the bottom. Your power port is actually here, but it has an extension inside that runs up to where your power supply will fit, which is here underneath the drive bays. There's an included extension. One interesting note is when installing a power supply, this case will only accept 3 screws in each corner of the power supply. But what they did do here is provided a little slot for your screwdriver so you can put it in. The cool thing to note about the power supply is there is a filtered intake here on the bottom for the power supply, and then it will blow the air out the side through a side air vent. Moving the dust filter is very easy. It's held in by 2 nubs. You just slide it out, clean it off, and then you can place it back in. The dust panel on the side of the case is built in and is not removable. So to clean it out, you have to remove the top panel from your case, and then you can just blow it out from the whole top panel. By default, this case will hold 6 drives. There's 3 mounting brackets included, and you can combine the drives in a multiple number of ways for installation. Each one is held with 2 thumb screws here on the rear. When you remove those, you also have to remove a screw at the front. And after that, the drives should just slide out. So here you have your rubber grommets for your mechanical hard drives to reduce vibration and noise, and then small screws for your 2.5 drives, solid states. On these drive bays, they're held on by an individual screw in the front, so this is not a toolless system, even though the rear screws are thumb screws. It's not really a good or bad thing, because for removal of these drives, you're going to have a screwdriver handy anyway for most builds. The rear ones are good to have as thumb screws because of the amount of space you have here. It's hard to get a larger screwdriver in, so I applaud them on the way they did it. It's not very consistent, but it works for the general public for what you're actually going to be using it for. Going to remove the other 2 drives. Looking here on the inside of the case, you can see the tie downs for your cable management. They're on the left side of the case. Around the back of this case is a 140 millimeter Fractal Design R2 fan. There is a fan controller on the rear side that will control 3 3-pin fans powered by 4-pin Molex. In the front of the case, we see 2 92 millimeter fans, Fractal Design Silent Series R2. On the rear panel, we see the fan controller switch with a high, medium, and low setting. It is probably 5 volt, 7 volt, 12 volt. To install your graphics card in the PCI slot, you have to loosen this thumb screw first. You don't have to take it all the way out, but it should slide up and fit there. There's 2 screws holding the brackets on. You'll have to remove to take the brackets out, and then you can do the rest. You just screw them back down after you're done, and then tighten this. The intake for the front fans is only here on the top and on the bottom through a small gap. So behind the front panel, which just pulls off, which is fairly easy considering it is the push tab type. There's no tabs inside. These, from previous cases, I've found to break over time. This could be a bad thing, the amount of times you'll need to remove it to clean out your dust filter. Alright, these tabs have a little bit of a give to them. Just give them a good push and pull right out. Then you can clean this dust filter and then place it back on. These fans are actually recessed a little bit in this front panel, so it's not just a straight mount. You put the cover panel back on, just line it up and push it on. It's one of the better ones I've actually felt taking it on and off. It might not break over time. It's just something you'll have to see. On the bottom of the case, there are 4 rubberized feet, and the bottom is covered in a ring of plastic material. The case itself is decently built. It is actually a U shape, just like the top, where all this is one piece, and then there's just 2 rails on each side holding it together. Installing the top panel, place it over on both sides. You leave about an inch gap at the front. You kind of have to push in on both sides for the latches to set, and then you should be able to just push it forward and then install the thumb screws. I'm going to go over some of my big pros and cons of the case. A lot of the pros is it's a compact size and you can fit a lot of drives in here in a lot of different configurations. I think the case leaves a lot of openness for mods. I like the overall layout of the case. It kind of saves space the way the power supply is in there. Some of the cons is I like the dust filters, but the way you have to access them and clean them out is not the cleanest way. You pretty much have to disassemble your whole case to be able to do that. I think it's better than not having dust filters at all. It protects your components, and you're going to have to disassemble your case to dust it out if you don't have dust filters. One downside could be it doesn't have a 5 1/4 bay for CD drive, DVD drive. The last 2 builds I've built for myself, I've installed a Blu-ray or a DVD burner, and I've actually not used it at all. I don't know why I still have them. I used to burn CDs for the car, but now I just use a flash drive or my phone, and it just kind of makes it easy. So you don't really need one anymore. The few cases you'll need it, you can just get an external, but even then, don't even waste the money on it. Either find a different computer and rip it to a flash drive, or find a friend, or use a different computer in the house, because who doesn't have multiple computers these days? Another downside, like I've mentioned before, is the push tabs here on the front panel to take it on and off. I'd rather have tabs on the inside that you can push in and just slide the panel off. Makes things a lot easier, and I feel like you won't break it like you do some of the push tab types. There's better ways of doing it. This is just kind of a cheap way to put it in and to attach a removable panel. At the time of filming it, this case retails for a little under $100. I feel it's higher than what it should be. The size of the case isn't that big, and the design that went into it, while is good, isn't like spectacular. You don't have a lot of extra features like you do on some of the other cases. My current build, I have the Fractal Design R4, and it's a little over $100. So the $20 or $30 difference, I really don't see it. The Define R4 is a big case and has a lot of features, a lot of parts to it, and I just can't see the justification for this case being as high as it is right now. I know it's new to the market, and most Mini-itx components are higher priced than what they should be. It's kind of the new popular thing, and hopefully over the next few years those prices will come down. I actually don't have any components to put in this right now. I won this case as a giveaway from Tek Syndicate and Fractal Design. They put it on. Basically, they're sending out cases to some people, and the stipulation is they have to write a review and post pictures or do a video review. This is my first video review. It's probably not the greatest. I don't have a professional camera. I'm just using my phone right now. Haven't done any editing for 10 or 15 years since I was in high school, and my experience there is fairly limited. I do like computers and components and building stuff. Starting to try and get into modding and doing my own business, building computers for people. Like I said, I have the Fractal Design R4, and I can do a review of it next to this case, kind of give you a comparison, and then I might do a separate review of that case, depending on the feedback I get on this review, and if it's something I want to keep doing. I don't know what I can bring to the table that a lot of the other bigger YouTube people bring to the table. This is kind of just a hobby and doing it because of the contest or the giveaway. So trying my hand at it. It's something I wanted to do for a while and just haven't had the push and the want to yet. As far as finding me socially, I'm not on Facebook. Kind of left that scene a long time ago. I am on Google+, and my gamer tag for pretty much everything is Pardon My Ownage, just like it sounds. No numbers, no anything. So add me, find me, like the video, post it, reshare it, whatever you want to do. Thanks.